Hi.
Tales from the Shed, and we're talking about our amazing retreat in November. That's just going to
Exactly.
be, it's going to be your little bit of sunshine,
Creating your best years. Yeah.
creating your best years. And it's going to be that little bit of sunshine that's by the sea in North Cornwall. It's just going to be amazing. All found.
Fantastic.
It's a nice spa. It's just going to be relaxing,
Yeah.
as well as the stars of the show. We're going to be actually just doing.
Yes, that's
So we're
right.
going to talk about day two. We talked a
Day
little bit
two.
about day one. So day one is about identifying who you are, not who you are in that way, but where you've been, lots of experiences,
Yeah.
things
How
you
you got to this
love,
point.
where we got to this point, and what are we going to do for the rest.
So day two is where next, and we're talking about finding and moving blocks. So
yeah, because part of finding where we are is going to be exciting and jolly and brilliant, and we want to identify that. There's also going to be a few things that come up that may not be quite as bright and brilliant, although you may be one of those really lucky people that's been blessed.
Great. In case you're going to have a really easy day.
Day two is going to be a good
Bend
day
in the spa.
good day in the spa. And it's just like, if we've had irritations or big stuff, a lot of people have big things or losses or things that changed us, things, turning points. If there's been a bereavement, that's very often a turning point or a blocks or some anger or angst. Everybody has some angst in their life.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people that I've spoken to really say, although that was hard, I wouldn't change it. It's made me who I am. So I think acknowledging that is really positive. But is there something that you're really struggling with? We've got lots of practical things that I've used in clinic, things that we've come through talking to people and I work with people, really practical things that we're going to actually exercise that will help you unblock them, because by unblocking them and losing them and losing those things that we really like, okay, we got there, we enjoyed the experience or didn't enjoy it, but we're glad we had it in a funny way. I now want to park it.
Yeah, because it's interesting about, you don't really realize how much those things reverberate throughout your life. And I always remember, and at some point I kind of had this remembrance of when I was quite tiny. I might have been 4, and some little old lady, it's always some random little old lady, isn't it, who's really helpful, kind of came up and was like saying, oh, how are you doing, whatever, have you got any brothers and sisters? Yes, my brother, yes. And I was really proud. Yes, my sister's 10 years older than me, my brother's 15 years older than me, and I kind of knew these things. And she went, it's like a little mistake then.
And you became a mistake.
So at 4, I kind of got that feeling. And at some point, I think I was kind of in my late 20s, 30s, and I just kind of thought, that's really interesting. Looking at how I'd lived my life and what I'd been doing, I'd kind of internalized it the way you do when you're 4. You don't really know. You don't know these people are just they're a bit well-meaning, but a bit stupid, actually.
Or it might have been a lovely opportunity.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, but it was like, so to kind of come to that and look at how I'd lived my life and decisions I'd made, I was all about proving that I was necessary, that I wasn't a mistake, and all the rest of it. And I was the first person in my family to go to university. And I'm like, well, yes, I think that was a good decision. But it was like, was it all about me proving that I was different from my brother and my sister?
And it's keeping the ambition and loving the ambition and realizing that you're doing it because you love the ambition, rather than I'm doing it to try to prove to the next funny little old lady that comes up to me. Can you imagine how old that'd be if they came up an old lady much older than me that said something? But it was like, and I've spoken to somebody not that long ago that had an amazing relationship with their father, just lovely. It was just brilliant, but he'd be very cautious and very even through his life, and had a job they hated, but it had a good pension and all the rest of it. And then his dad just dropped dead, and 82. So yes,
fair enough.
fair enough. But it was like 30 years too early for him. And it completely changed his life, like that bereavement. It was like, oh my God, so life does end. In a way, I thought my dad would live forever. I thought I would live forever. I thought I suddenly realised that I've got here and I don't know who I've ever aimed to be. I've sort of got stuck at 20 with a useful job. Now reached the age of nearly 60, I'm thinking, who am I and where does that come? So there's a lot of triggers, like you say,
and it's like
and
people
loss.
invent it. I mean, I, you know, in terms of my own dad, I just remember kind of, and I did a course where it was like looking at what did you learn from your dad, and I kind of thought, well, the kind of message that came through, because if you internalize things before you're verbal, before whatever's going on, you just kind of look at what's going on. But what I kind of learned from my dad was the message was you work really hard and you'll never have enough money. And I realized I had spent my life recreating that, and I thought, the poor man's been dead for over 10 years. I could stop making him responsible for my own life. I could change that message. What would the message be? You know, and my message I came up with was, I don't work very hard, but I have enough.
And I think it's looking at these, but if there's things that are very personal, that are deep, we still have really lovely techniques. And what we're aiming to do on day 2 is talk through some things that do work. And what we tend to find is no one thing will work for everybody. Some things will be really drawn to this thing that they can do on their own. Some people will be drawn to this something in a group. Some people will want to talk about it. So we're going to give you the opportunity to experience
these as your toolkit.
One, you can take them away and use them, but also you'll know that isn't for me, that is for me. And I've not seen anybody that doesn't find something. They go, I'm going to pick up those 2 out of the 4. I can see how that would work for my friend. I'm not sure if it would work for me. So and by experiencing it
in that safe space,
instead of reading about it or something,
experience is key.
And you'll know whether it works. So anything, if it's little or big, these work for all of it. And we're going to be doing this practical thing, as well as, I believe, space for a spa. And lovely evening
always
meal.
Space for a spa.
And I think everything, they've got juices and everything during the day, as well as lunch, breakfast. And so all you have to do is just experience.
And I can't remember, I'm thinking that because we've got like that day, we might, and sometimes we might give you a homework, just kind of think, so when you're kind of having dinner, hanging out, in the bath, you know, all those kind of things, just something to think about that evening. So when we start the next day, you're ready.
We're ready. So day 1, who you want to be. Day 2, is there anything that's stopping that flowering? Because we will help you.
And where do you want to go next?
The spa.